I think initially for personal growth, I've been doing yoga for like 12 years now, I think. And I wanted to take that practice to the next level, and I do want to teach. So that was on the forefront of my mind too. So I wanted to push myself and expand my knowledge on yoga and just adopt a more spiritual side of myself that had been lacking for a while.
I had just been feeling really imbalanced with the amount of time I was putting into my day job and even just family and friends, and I wanted to carve something out for myself. And every time I do yoga or I've gone to a class, it just feels solely for me. And so I had done a class and I walked away and I was like, I just want more of this. A lot of what was on your website just spoke to how you can give back, and that spoke to me. The sense of community spoke to me. The strengthening, like my practice, that spoke to me. So all the things I'd been thinking about were just honestly like laid out on the website in a very serendipitous way, I suppose. And then I think it starting right away didn't give me the opportunity to make any excuses. It's also down the road from where I live, so it just couldn't have lined up any better. I didn't have any work trips going on. I didn't have anything else to like take me away. So I just jumped in, and I'm glad I did. It was one of the best decisions I've made for me.
I also think I did it because I just moved here in May, moved to Denver area, and I wanted a community that like had same like mindset as I did. So that was also another factor, like to meet people that also had the same like values and interests.
So I just had noticed in my work as a school social worker that I felt kind of stagnant, and I think maybe COVID also increased that feeling. So I had been talking to my husband about like, I need something new, I need something different. How can I take what I'm doing now as a school social worker and expand on that? So I kind of thought like, what do kids need? What do the kids that I work with need? I felt like they needed movement, nature, activity, something like that. So that got me thinking, well, what do I know how to do? I'd been doing yoga probably for 12 years before even considering doing yoga teacher training, and I had seen it around and I just didn't feel like it was for me. So I kind of thought about trauma-centered yoga and just kind of asked around, like, what does that mean? What does that look like? What would I do to get involved in that? And just kind of looked up trauma-focused yoga, just as in Google, and came upon a few. And as I read through the description of this course, I was like, yes, absolutely, this is exactly what I need. And so I talked to my husband about it, and he's like, yeah, yes, do it. So I had the full support of him. Felt like we could work around it since I have a 2-year-old, and he graciously accepted the responsibility of caring for her on the days that I'd be gone, and we just made it work. And yeah, community-centered, kind of giving back to the community, that was what pulled me in that direction, and kind of learning more about theory and not just getting in shape and not just teaching it if I wanted. I didn't know if that was what I wanted to do, but I did know I wanted to learn more about that. I wanted to learn more about what do the poses mean, how can I use that along with social work to give to either kids, and now just kind of thinking about it while I'm in here, how could it lead me in a direction, maybe a different career path?
Yeah, oh man, I have a bit of a wild ride, especially, yeah, I'm 27 now, but it's kind of started when I was 23, really. I was married young at 20 and found out some really shocking news that my former husband was an addict of sorts, and I had been playing into that addictive cycle for 10 years. And so I was in 12-step recovery spaces for 2 of those years until I finally decided it was time to get a divorce. He wasn't, getting sober in his program. And that all happened right before COVID. So then COVID happened, and that was extremely isolated. I had just separated, prepping for a divorce, and I was doing my own step work, recognizing that I have, addictive behaviors around food and various eating disorders of all forms, and I've used food as a way to control and to cope with the dysfunction I had lived in before. And so all of this kind of was becoming clear to me, and the one thing during COVID that kind of kept me sane was yoga, and it was just something I was like, oh, screw it all, I'll take an online, class. It was super obviously we weren't meeting in person at that time. There was nowhere you could go because everyone was quarantined, and it had this profound effect on me immediately. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this is. There's something here. I'm going to keep doing it. In my addict way, I did it very compulsively. It was a way I kind of ran from things to a point. I played with the very disciplined, strict, controlled ways of doing yoga, and it didn't quite feel right, but it felt better than what I had been doing before. And then, through COVID, I was getting into spiritual texts and theory and religion and, just exploring the various elements of, a higher power or purpose, dharma, whatever you want to call it. And I thought, someone had kind of talked me into seminary. So I get to seminary and I'm like, I immediately had this feeling in my heart of no. This is not right. This is not right. And actually, when I was coming back from visiting, I dropped all my classes immediately. I was in the airport and I'm like, if there was something I would really want to do right now, don't let anyone else's voices come in. And it was just yoga. This was the one space that I felt like I was getting closer to some inner knowing, some inner intention that wasn't being informed by my surroundings. So I did research and I read the background that you had written, and I was just like, yes. Oh my gosh, he talks about addiction here. He talks about, all these spaces of various dysfunction or confusion I've been in. And really for me, it's just, this is a space where I was hoping and, I was hoping to be free of my eating disorders and also just find my dharma purpose, what I'm here to do. So that's how I got here. Just getting away from yoga as this, this exercise program. I mean, my eating disorder, there's compulsive overeating and then there's restriction. And so it's my restrictive brain would have loved let's do handstands all day and eat like a bird and, just hyper restrictive Ayurvedic diet, and this was the opposite of that. And it just felt, it felt more right than where I had been. It felt more gentle and loving and just closer to also rooted in yogic theory, which is also very compelling to me, So the Bhagavad Gita, just reading into that and just understanding the various ways that this tradition has broken down shared human experience, essentially. That is all, my brain loves that. So there was so much in there that I was just, okay, this feels more right. This feels more like recovery and healing and more of what I need.